Brian, in this video, can you talk to us about emotions?
Yeah. Let's start with just us being able to feel emotions. What is your feeling? What's the emotion right now that's present for you? Sometimes we ignore what we feel, and in fact, most of us been taught to ignore what we feel. Especially if it's any emotion that's not a good emotion, and here we go. Because most of us deal with emotions at the intellectual level. But we don't really feel what we're feeling. Most of us are taught early on as children. Some emotions are good and some emotions are bad, all right? And when you have a bad emotion, like a tantrum, or you cry, or you're angry, then we'll get some kind of negative reinforcement, and we very quickly learn that those emotions, what we should do is repress them, that they're not going to be appropriate in situations that we're in. And so on the one hand, what we learn for emotions that are the bad emotions, again, that good and bad is happening at the dualistic level, the intellectual level. All emotions are the same. So we repress. Now, we're also supposed to have good emotions, right? So we're supposed to be happy all the time, and we can. And so what we learn is when we don't have those good emotions, we pretend that we have those good emotions. And so on the one hand, with emotions, for most of us, the way that we're brought up is that we repress the bad emotions, and then if we have the good emotions, that's great. But if we don't have them, we pretend that we do. So even though I'm feeling really lousy and I don't really want to go to see my aunt and uncle, when I go to see my aunt and uncle, I'm going to repress all of those feelings, right? And try to be the good little boy or the good little girl and do all of the things that we're supposed to do. And in order to do that, what we do is we begin to create a wall, all right, in terms of our emotions, so that we just don't have to feel them. Now, if you're one of those people that is high on the emotional sensitivity scale, all right, you don't know what to do with emotions, and because you're feeling them in a way that is kind of more pronounced than other people. And so what you do is you kind of build a bigger barrier as a defense mechanism, as a protection. But most of us, by the time that we get to the place to where we even start to have cognition at 10, 11, and 12, we're still already experienced, all right, with trying to deny our emotions either through repression or pretense. Now, we need to understand kind of what emotions are. We're born into a human life, and we have a range of vibrational frequencies that are emotions. And that range of frequencies, okay, is also, all right, it's intermixed, so that we we don't have the same emotions. There are vibrational changes that are going on, so that every time that you are sad, it's different. It's not the same sadness. Emotions have a tendency to mix and flow. One of the problems that we have that get in the way of us understanding emotions is that we've created words for emotions, and we have a very limited vocabulary, all right, for emotions. And even if we put a word on the emotion, it is never exactly what you're feeling, because sadness can have anxiety in it, it can have depression in it, it can have fear in it, it can have joy in it, it can have all kinds of things, and it's moving, it's never stable. When you look at how I'm feeling right now, boy, if you don't keep your consciousness there, you'll come back 10 minutes later and the feeling has shifted. When we have a different kind of experience with someone, and all of a sudden something happens and we make a connection that is vibrational, emotional, all of a sudden, wow, we feel differently about that person. It's constantly changing, and all of our emotions, there aren't any clear barriers between emotions. It's a flow state. Our emotions are not things. It's a process. And we go through this feeling process, this connecting to this vibrational level. And remember, all of these are different frequencies, but they all have the same role. And that is to bring us back into psychological and physiological balance. And so if you have an emotion and you want to move through that emotion, all as you need to do is to feel that emotion. If I am insecure and I allow myself to feel that insecurity, I accommodate that insecurity, I bring it in, I am feeling insecure. The minute that I do that, it begins to, like every emotion you've ever felt, it begins to shift. And if I'm okay with being insecure, then what happens is that I have then the ability to lessen my insecurity. It begins to go away. And I'm okay. The same thing happens with our fears. If we face a fear, if we bring it in, if we feel it, it becomes less fearful. We begin to change. We begin to shift it. Now, if I've solidified that fear in my head, like I'm afraid of dogs, okay, and I've solidified that, and it actually becomes, in a way, a phobia, all right, which is, okay, wow, then that stays there. If I begin to work on being okay and begin to gradually start to, as I face that fear begins to go away. When we connect with our fears, when we connect with any feeling that we've got, and we actually feel it, that gets healed. Our problem is that most of us don't actually feel the feelings. We'll go, oh, wow, I'm insecure, and then we will move it into, oh, well, why am I insecure? And we'll try to analyze it, and we'll try to figure it out, and then we'll decide that, oh, I shouldn't be insecure, and then we pretend not to be insecure. Okay, But it's pretense. It's all head stuff. It will not heal. If you are depressed, you are not going to get through that depression until you feel it. Now, most people are afraid of feeling that depression, so they will create some kind of either I'm not depressed, okay, and it's like they'll pretend to not be depressed, and then you go out into the world and somebody says, hey, Brian, how you feeling? Oh, I'm great, everything's okay. I'm totally disconnected from anything that I'm feeling. And we can pretend to not be depressed for years. And we can be so good at it that no one really knows, because cognitive dissonance, that's our ability to self-deceive. We don't even know that we're depressed, okay? We've so bought into the reality that everything's okay, but what we've done is we've just cut off from anything emotional. That dimension of our lives gets lost. We can also do the same thing. We get depressed about being depressed. Now, what's nice about being depressed is you don't actually have to feel depressed. It's a secondary. I'm depressed. And those are the people that we all have them in our lives that basically they're kind of black holes. They want to get some level of connection with other people. They want to get but what happens is that they become like suckers. They suck energy, right? They become like black holes, right? Because the minute that you give compassion to that space, what happens is it doesn't hit anything because they're not actually feeling depressed. What we want to do is we want to be able to look with emotions. The secret to emotions is we've got it nailed. If we can be happy about being unhappy, it's okay. All of these vibrational frequencies that we call emotions and that we've labeled as something, and then remember, they're processes. They're not things. All of them have a role. We need to suffer in this life. But if we pretend that we're not suffering, or we're woe is me about the suffering, or oh, I shouldn't be, if we do, it's just life. And in order for us to understand this incredible journey that we're on, in order for us to understand that, wow, we need to be able to connect with the suffering of the world, or what happens is we disconnect from the world. And then what we do is we create it so that it's only my suffering, and we don't connect with life.